Great Unbuilding, How Europe is Destroying Itself. Good morning. This isn't a report about economics. It's a post-mortem on a civilization that's choosing to vanish, not with a bang, but with a regulation. For decades, we were told, globalization is progress. Green is growth. Brussels knows best. But look around. Volkswagen halts production in Wolfsburg, not from war, but because China turned off the chip tap. BASF, the crown jewel of German industry, makes profits everywhere in the world, except in Germany. And now it's building its largest factory ever in China. This isn't competition. This is surrender. Part 1, the supply chain trap. The U.S. China economic war isn't happening in boardrooms. It's happening on factory floors, and Europe is caught in the crossfire with no armor, no ammo, and no plan. When China restricted rare earths, the West panicked. When it starved Nexperia of materials, German, Japanese, and American carmakers stopped building vehicles. Not because they lacked ideas. Not because they lacked workers. But because they outsourced their sovereignty. For 30 years, we closed steel mills, sold chip fabs, and shipped battery plants to Asia, all in the name of efficiency. Now, efficiency means begging Beijing for permission to build a car. The Dutch government seized Nexperia to protect national security. But it's theater. They own the name, not the supply chain. And without Chinese materials, silence. This is the bitter truth. You cannot decouple from an empire you've spent decades feeding. Part 2, Germany's Self-Morgenthau. After World War II, the Allies considered a plan to permanently deindustrialize Germany, the Morgenthau Plan. They wanted to turn it into a pastoral backwater. But the Cold War saved Germany. The West needed its factories. So instead of destruction, Germany got the Marshall Plan and rose to power. Today, no foreign army is doing this to Germany. Germans are doing it to themselves. Energy prices 3 to 5 times higher than in the US or China. Bureaucracy so thick, companies spend 146 billion euros a year just to comply with rules that create zero value. A green transition that bans combustion engines while importing 92% of solar panels from China. And the result? 51,000 auto jobs lost in 1 year. 22,000 Bosch workers cut in Germany. Stuttgart facing Detroit-style collapse. Industrial insolvencies at a 20-year high. IFO Institute calls it dramatic decline. But let's be honest. This is economic suicide dressed up as virtue. Even BASF's former CEO said it plainly. We make money everywhere except in Germany. So they're leaving. Not out of spite. Out of survival. Part 3, the climate cult and the bureaucratic beast. Let's stop pretending. The climate agenda in Europe isn't about saving the planet. It's about centralizing power. Brussels has built a tentacled bureaucracy that grows with every new rule. Document your CO2. Trace your supply chain. Prove your gender balance. Pay your plastic tax. And who benefits? Not workers. Not families. But consultants, compliance officers, and EU functionaries. In 3 years, 325,000 new jobs were created in Germany. Sounds great until you learn. These aren't engineers or welders. They're paper pushers hired by companies to satisfy Brussels. They produce nothing. They innovate nothing. They exist only to feed the regulatory machine. Meanwhile, real industry flees. 31% of heavy industry is moving abroad. 42% are freezing investments. Entire sectors, chemicals, steel, autos, are shrinking by the month. And what's Brussels' response? A €2 trillion debt bomb by 2028. More green subsidies. More war spending. More central control. As Thomas Kolb writes, defense plus green equals a massive impoverishment program for the middle class. You pay more for gas, more for groceries, more for housing, all while elites lecture you about sacrifice. Part 4, The Elite Delusion. Friedrich Merz, former BlackRock executive, now German Chancellor, says, "We must put a stick in the spokes of the Brussels machine." But then he signs letters defending the same green dogma. He scolds workers for laziness while his policies erase their livelihoods. He talks of competitiveness while Germany's production potential sinks to 0.6%. This isn't leadership. It's performance. The same goes for Brussels. They'll allow mini-reforms to calm the masses. But net zero by 2040 is untouchable. Why? Because if the CO2 panic ends, Brussels loses its reason to exist. Their power depends on fear, on guilt, on the illusion that only they can save us. But from what? From cheap energy, from working factories, from affordable cars. No, they're saving us from freedom, from the messy, unpredictable reality of real economies. Conclusion, the choice. Europe stands at a crossroads. One path, keep going. More debt. More rules. More outsourcing. Become a post-industrial museum, lecturing the world while your children work in call centers or drive for Uber. The other path, rebuild. Slash energy costs, nuclear gas, local power. Abolish green bureaucracy. Bring factories home. Secure raw materials. Put workers before compliance. This isn't radical. It's basic survival. Because history doesn't care about your climate targets. It only cares. Can you feed your people? Can you defend your borders? Can you build the future or just regulate its corpse? Right now, Europe is choosing the latter. And if nothing changes, the next crisis won't just idle car plants. It will idle entire nations. Thank you.